Hey traders, this is Daniel with VantagePoint AI, and what a week it's been already. It's only Tuesday. Between the jobless reports, between the new housing reports and existing home sales and oil rig reports, earnings season is in full swing. There's so many different reports available and so much news generated about the markets. How do you cut through all the clutter? I can tell you how I do it. With artificial intelligence. Look at my screen right now. We're looking at a stock of Apple. We're looking at a chart of the Apple stock over the last 6 months. What do all those reports mean? I don't know how they're going to impact Apple, but what I do know is that VantagePoint is doing global market analysis to figure out what markets are influencing Apple's share price, whether they're going to drive it up or sideways or down to get accurate forecast that you can use even when these government reports are coming out. Let me show you what I mean. Over here on the left-hand side of the screen, Apple, there was a crossover on October 10th, 2018, where you could have taken this opportunity to the short side and just simply gone crossover to crossover in this trend and picked up about $66 per share. Well, if you just had 100 shares of Apple to the short side, that's a $6,600 profit in one trend with just 100 shares. But if you look at the center of your screen down here, you can see that on January 16th, VantagePoint indicated Apple was expected to start trending up. Well, there's a great opportunity to buy those 100 shares, and if you bought 100 shares in Apple until the closing bell today, you could have seen about $47 in profits realized in Apple. Again, same 100 shares, we're talking about making $11,000 in profits in two trends, just trading 100 shares of Apple or a contract each for you options traders out there. Now let's take a look at Boston Beer. The blue line is a predicted line. You see, when the blue line crosses below the black line right here, back here on November 19th, that's an indication that this trend is expected to go down over the next few days. Well, if you use that information to short Boston Beer, you can see some incredible profits in this stock alone, just going crossover to crossover. Look at this. In this first downtrend, that's 20% profit, $63 per share. Let's just say we had 50 shares of SAM in this case. In that situation, we're talking about making over $3,000 in profits to the short side. Same situation here, and we're just going to use 50 shares because it's a nice small investment. $67 in profit, another $3,500 in profit or so, give or take. And then the latest crossover going down until the closing bell of 2 days ago, there's another $40 per share profit. Again, that's a $2,000 profit. Altogether, this is $9,000 worth of profits, taking a very small 50 share position. Don't forget, Apple had $10,000 in profits. So we're talking about $19,000, $20,000 in profits in two different stocks that had some very, very good trends that you could have taken advantage of, regardless of all those government reports and regardless of the earnings season. Snap, here's another opportunity. If we just went from that crossover until the closing bell here, you can see that's up $5 per share. You can see that's up $5 per share. 57 trading days, okay? This is a very small investment. This is about $6 a share when that crossover happened, indicating that this trend could go up. Load up. Let's say you got 1,000 shares of that. That's a $5,000 profit. You can see that, guys. Cadence. I'm going to start going through these pretty quickly because I think you get it. That blue line is a prediction. That's an indication that this trend is expected to go up. You don't have to go read all these reports and try to figure out if that is going to be a bullish or a bearish signal for this stock. Simply let the artificial intelligence indicate the trend reversal. Crossover to crossover, that's a 50% profit in a stock called Cadence. A great profit-taking opportunity the other day where you could have generated about $20 per share. Again, if we use 100 shares, a very small investment, that's a easy $2,000 profit on top of the $20,000 you would have already made or could have already made using the artificial intelligence. Twitter. A lot of people talking about Twitter. VantagePoint indicated Twitter was going to go up back in March. And if we just go until the closing bell yesterday, you can see that that's up $3.44 per share since this forecast. 1,000 shares of Twitter, $3,000 profit. Guys, I'm doing small investments here. I'm not buying 20, 30, 40,000 shares in these examples. Devon Energy. Another great opportunity. What do the oil rig reports and the inventory say about oil? Well, what does that mean for Devon? Well, I can tell you, Devon's up 20% since the artificial intelligence forecasted that uptrend. Again, 1,000 shares, small investment, almost a $6,000 profit. For those of you number guys out there, if you're doing the math, that's about $30,000 just in these 4 or 5 different opportunities we looked at. Now, I know what you're saying. You're saying, hey, Daniel, give me something that's got a fresh crossover. Sure. Here's Teva Pharmaceuticals. VantagePoint indicated this trend was going to go down. It went down and it crossed over just recently. And you can see the blue line crossed above the black line, indicating this trend was expected to reverse and start going up today. That is exactly what happened in Teva Pharmaceuticals. It started going up today, and there were some great profits made for the people using the artificial intelligence in VantagePoint. Let's look at some long-term outlooks. Qualcomm. VantagePoint indicated Qualcomm was expected to go back up in February, and it's gone up since then. And you can see that it's up 55%, almost $30 per share since VantagePoint indicated that uptrend was coming. Now, I want to draw some attention to this little area right here. On April 12th, there was some consolidation between those predicted moving averages, indicating that this trend had some weakness, but it did not indicate a trend reversal, and you could have been rewarded for using artificial intelligence in a big way. Again, let's use 500 shares here. We're talking about making a lot of money in Qualcomm. We're up over $30,000 in profits. Now, one last thing I want to show you guys, for you cannabis traders out there, the guys that like the things that are under $1, look at Index. Cannabis has been in the news. What does all those news reports have to do with the performance of the stock? Well, I can tell you what the artificial intelligence is saying, and it indicated an uptrend way back in January, and even up to this point, this is a home run, guys. You don't get the opportunity to find these very often, and VantagePoint indicated a trend up 71 days ago, almost 1,000% in profits. It went up 54 cents in that time. Now, this is easily a stock that you could have 20, 30, 50,000 shares of, and you can see how you could have grown your account by $20,000 to $30,000 with a position like that. Guys, do the math. You could have generated over $60,000 just in these 7 stocks, or about 8 stocks that we've looked at in the last few months. Imagine what that would do for your retirement. Give yourself the opportunity to cut through the clutter. Give yourself the opportunity to take advantage of these trends and get started with VantagePoint now. There's no reason to wait.